In today's video, I'll be showing you how to build this diamond farm using the Create mod that makes around 40 diamonds per hour. So without further ado, let's get to building. For this build, we'll need a 14 by 11 block foundation. These are the items we'll be using in today's build. Now to automate diamonds, we'll be using a Create Mod add-on called Create Ultimate Factory, which I'll leave a link to in the description. And to get a diamond, you need to put 100 millibuckets of lava along with 9 blocks of coal in a basin that is being heated by a blaze burner and use a press to compress them into a diamond. And to get the coal blocks, we'll put 9 pieces of coal in a basin and compact them using a press. Then to get the coal, we'll be using another recipe from the Create Ultimate Factory add-on that allows us to bulk haunt charcoal into coal. And to get charcoal, we can bulk blast any type of log, and to get the logs, we'll be using a tree farm. Now to start, we'll place 8 grass blocks in the corner like this. We'll place 8 more, leaving a gap of 1 block. And then we'll place 8 more, leaving another gap of 1 block. And 8 last grass blocks like this. Now we'll be using a contraption that will rotate and plant saplings on these grass blocks, as well as chop down any trees that grow on them. And to start doing that, we'll break out these 3 blocks and place a water wheel in the middle with a bucket of water here to get the water wheel spinning. Then we'll place a mechanical bearing on top of the water wheel with a piece of smooth stone and 2 chests to the side. Now these chests will be what stores the items that we get from chopping down the trees. Now we'll place 2 saws facing this direction. And you want to make sure they face this direction and not the other way like this, because the saws will be moving in this direction, and if the back of a saw hits the part of a tree, it'll just go right through it and it won't chop it down. Then we'll place 3 deployers facing backward and filter their items to be spruce saplings only. That way they'll be able to place down spruce saplings, but not other things that we get from this, like spruce logs. Then we'll want to place a portable storage interface facing this direction, and this will be what allows us to output the items from the contraption onto a vault. Next, we'll want to super glue all of these blocks that we just placed together. Then you'll want to put 32 spruce saplings inside this chest. Now we'll want to place 2 temporary blocks here with a portable storage interface on top that can catch the items from the contraption. Then we'll place a 2 by 2 by 3 block item vault. We'll place a brass funnel here with an andesite funnel inputting into the vault. Now if this contraption has any items in the chest, this portable storage interface will connect with this one whenever it comes around to it, and the items will drop out using the brass funnel and go in the vault using the andesite funnel. Then we'll want to place 3 more item vaults here, and we'll place 9 blocks like this. Now that we have spruce logs going into this vault, we'll need to bulk blast those logs into charcoal. And to do that, we'll place an output brass funnel here. We'll place a temporary block on this side. We'll place 2 encased fans with encased chain drives behind them. We'll place a temporary block here with a copycat panel on the side. Then we'll filter this brass funnel to only output spruce logs. We'll place a brass funnel here filtered to only input charcoal so it can catch the charcoal after it gets blasted. Then we'll need a copycat panel on the side here so items don't fall off. And now that we have charcoal going into this vault, we'll want to place an output brass funnel here. and this will output the charcoal so it can get bulk haunted using a soul campfire in front of this encased fan, and that'll turn it into charcoal, which will then turn into blocks of coal. And then we'll also place a lava bucket here so we can blast the logs into charcoal. Now we'll actually be using the same mechanical press and basin to both compact the coal into coal blocks and compact the coal blocks with the lava into diamonds. And since the diamonds need to be heated, we'll place a blaze burner here with a basin on top and a mechanical press facing this way. Then we'll place an input brass funnel so we can input the coal, and we'll want to filter this brass funnel to only allow coal to go in, since this will be outputting coal and we want to wait for that to get bulk haunted. Now to get lava into this basin, we'll place 4 fluid pipes here with a mechanical pump facing into the basin. Then we'll place 4 cauldrons on top of the fluid pipes. We'll place a temporary block with 4 more blocks above the cauldrons, and under each of those blocks we'll place a pointed dripstone. And then we'll also want to place copycat panels on the sides, and these copycat panels will contain the lava. And now if we place a lava bucket above each of these blocks, it will let the dripstone drip the lava into these cauldrons, which makes it an infinite lava source. And then after the cauldron is full, this mechanical pump will pump that lava into the basin, which will mix with the coal blocks to make the diamonds. Now to get these 2 encased fans spinning at the correct speed, we'll place a large cogwheel here with a rotation speed controller below it. Then we'll place a water wheel on this rotation speed controller. We'll place a copycat panel here. Then we'll want to make sure this block is broken and place a water bucket on top of this water wheel, and it should start spinning, and the water will not flow out since it's being contained in that block. And we'll want to set this to 64 RPM, and if the encased fans are spinning the wrong direction like you can see here, then you can simply just go into the rotation speed controller and make the direction that the output spins the opposite, and then it should work. And be careful not to stand in front of these fans, because if you stand in front of a fan that is bulk haunting, then you get blindness. But what's even worse is if you stand in front of a fan that is bulk blasting, you get set on fire. Now we'll want to connect up the mechanical pump and the mechanical press using 2 cogwheels. To get fuel into this blaze burner, we'll use a mechanical arm, and we'll place a depot here with a brass funnel above it so the mechanical arm has somewhere to pull fuel from. Then we'll right click the depot so it has somewhere to take the items from, and right click the blaze burner so it knows where to put them into, and place the mechanical arm here. Now to power this mechanical arm, we'll place a cogwheel here with a vertical gearbox on the side. Then we'll place a large cogwheel here with a rotation speed controller under it. Then we'll connect a water wheel to this rotation speed controller with a water bucket to make the water wheel flow. Then we'll set this rotation speed controller to output 128 RPM, since that's the max amount a mechanical arm can have before it uses up more than 1 water wheel worth of stress. Now to get power to this mechanical press and pump, we'll place a rotation speed controller here with a large cogwheel on top and 2 water wheels behind it. We'll place 2 copycat panels on the backs of the water wheels like this, and we'll place 2 more on the sides as well, along with 2 underneath and 2 more on the sides. And since this copycat panel here is already going to block the flow of water, we'll just place another one like this. Then we'll place 2 water buckets on top of the water wheels, and we can set the RPM up to 42, since this is the max it can have before it overstresses both of these machines. Since trees not only give you logs, but also saplings and sticks, those will get inputted into this vault. Any of those items can be outputted onto this depot, so the mechanical arm can use any of those 3 items to fuel the blaze burner. Now the logs will last a little bit longer in the blaze burner, but it's fast enough to where it can put multiple sticks in so it doesn't unheat the blaze burner. Now in the current state that this is in, the mechanical arm will just always try and put fuel into the blaze burner so it never runs out of fuel, but since we don't really need that to happen, since we won't always have 9 blocks of coal to turn into diamonds, we can actually limit this to where it will only put fuel in the blaze burner when it knows that there are at least 9 blocks of coal in the basin. And to do this, we can simply move the rotation speed controller over by a block along with the water wheel. Then we can put a clutch here and then set this rotation speed controller back to 128 RPM. And to detect how many blocks of coal are in the basin, we can use this thing called a threshold switch. So whenever you place the threshold switch, you can actually see which direction it's looking at by this little part that's sticking out here and this arrow on top. So you'll want to rotate it so that arrow is facing the basin. So what this does is it detects the amount of items that are inside the block it's looking at, and past a certain threshold it will output a redstone signal. So what we can do is we can go into the inventory like this, set this to 9 items, and set the second one to 8 items, and then we'll invert the signal. So whenever it has 9 or more items, it will power off, which turns the clutch off so the mechanical arm can get power. Now this little red bar indicates the amount of items that are inside the block that it's looking at. It actually has a little bit of the red bar there, and that's because there's lava inside. So if we want it to detect only one kind of item, then we can go use the block of coal, since that's what we want to detect. And then if we go right click on this little, as I was saying, if we right click on this little white box here, then it'll know to only look at the coal blocks that are inside rather than all of the blocks. Now we can see that that red bar is gone, and we can now place a redstone link on the side of the threshold switch. We can give it any frequency you want. I'll just choose to put 2 coal blocks. Then you can place another redstone link anywhere on the clutch and give it that same frequency, and then make sure to right click on it with the wrench to turn it to receiver mode. And since this has less than 9 coal blocks, it's activated this redstone link, which activates this one, which activates the clutch, so the mechanical arm cannot move. And if we go over and put at least 9 blocks of coal, you can see this redstone link turns off, which means that this mechanical arm is getting power. And if we take the coal out, it turns the redstone link back on, which turns the mechanical arm off again. And now, so we can have a way to catch the diamonds that we get from the basin, we'll place a chest here with a chute on top and a brass funnel that is filtered to only output diamonds. Now all that's left to do is to turn this contraption on and make sure it works. But before we do that, we'll just want to quickly right click this brass funnel with the wrench so that it can not output the spruce saplings that we need to place down. And now to turn on this contraption, you can just right click the mechanical bearing, and you'll want to make sure to look out for the mechanical saws, or else that can happen to you. And if you don't die like I did, you should be able to see that the spruce saplings have been placed down. Now you can right click this brass funnel to make it output instead of input, and just wait for the trees to grow. Or if you don't want to wait for the trees to grow, you can always just bone meal them and place the saplings back, and another tree grew. And the reason I chose to use spruce is because you can get so much wood from one tree growing. If you wanted, you could also use jungle saplings, but I just chose to use spruce saplings for this. Jungle saplings might actually be better since they don't convert the ground into podzol. Now sometimes when the portable storage interfaces connect, they don't actually output the items, but if you wait long enough, they should output the items like they're doing here. So now we can see here that we have spruce logs being bulk blasted into charcoal, and they just got turned into charcoal, which is going to be bulk haunted into coal. Now the charcoal has been haunted into coal, and it's being made into blocks of coal in the press. And once it runs out of coal to make into blocks, then it should start making diamonds. And there's the first diamond. So now if we go over to this chest, we can see that there are 2 diamonds in there. And if you want to upgrade this farm so it makes more diamonds, then all you have to do is make more logs and probably more lava as well. And if you want to make a lot more diamonds, you may need to make this press faster by adding more stress and turning this rotation speed controller up. This is the finished build. Don't forget to leave a comment down below with what you would like to see me build next. And while you're down there, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button, turn on notifications. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.